Roughly 2 years ago, Wizards of the Coast made the ill-fated decision to create a new April Fool's Magic the Gathering product. Unfortunately, the joke was on them, and it blew up into this massive debacle. Flash forward to today, and something has just happened that makes the situation even more embarrassing.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends, I hope the day finds you well, because we have gathered to talk about quite the interesting situation. I never thought that the April Fool's Secret Lair would ever be worth talking about again. I figured that was one and done. The situation that happened with it happened, and we all moved on. But lo and behold, the story continues. So, to make sure we're all on the same page, first of all, you need to understand the secret lair that we're talking about. So Wizards of the Coast decided they wanted to make an April Fool's product. The secret lair concept was, why don't we find all the worst Magic cards that have ever been made and cram them together into a secret lair that essentially would be undesirable based on the cards in it, but desirable because it's a ridiculous meme. To go and redo the artwork for all these garbage cards is a hilarious concept. And in case you haven't seen it, we're going to run real quick through the cards in the secret lair, starting out with the Storm Crow. All right, this is a great example of how ridiculous the secret lair is. So 1 blue and 1 gets you a 1/2 flying bird. You can see the artwork. They've made it so intense. It's this crow flying in front of the storm. The lightning's jagging down and the crow's just, wah-ha! I shall destroy you! But it's a 1/2 for 2. This is the exact type of garbage we're talking about. So you get Stormcrow, you get Mudhole, which is a 3-cost instant that lets you remove all the lands from somebody's graveyard. Absolutely terrible card. When it was printed, was considered the worst card in Magic. Sure, nowadays it may make some vintage players tremble in their boots a little, but overall, still completely garbage, right? They made a white-bordered Tybalt the Fiend-Blooded, which is hilarious because Tybalt the Fiend-Blooded is the most worthless planeswalker pretty much ever made. Sure, he only costs 2 red to put out, but once you figure out how bad he is, his +1 makes you discard cards at random. You draw a card, then you pitch a card at random, which means you can lose your best cards. And that's the only way to increase his loyalty. It's the only thing you can do with him for multiple turns after you put him out. And then that's just to build up to the -4, which is just a Stormseeker, hit them for however many cards they have in their hand, or -6, take all creatures till end of turn. This card's garbage. Like, it's absolute trash, but they made a white-bordered version of it. These secret lairs are super rare, so now this particular Tybalt is worth a ton. Moving on, we got Goblin Snowman. Another awful card. 1 red and 3 gets you a 1/1 Goblin. Whenever it's blocking, it takes no combat damage, and it can tap to do 1 damage to a creature it's blocking for 4 mana on a 1/1, right? This is the type of trash we're talking about. And then the final card in this secret lair is the Squire. So Squire is 1 white and 1 for a 1/2. You're looking at it, it's got no abilities in the text box. That's right. Let me show you the original Squire, because you might get a kick out of this. If you're newer to Magic and you're used to all the powerful stuff, understand that this Squire on the screen, these were in booster packs that I opened back when I was a new Magic player. This is the kind of stuff we got, where you look at it and you go, 1/2, 1/2 for 2. So what? And then you read the flavor text and you're like, there's nothing here. This card's terrible. But the flavor text is hilarious. It's like one of those ancient Magic quotes where they took it from literature, but when you take the quote and compare it to the artwork, it's amazing, right? It says, of 20 years of age he was. Look at that artwork. Does that look like a 20-year-old to you? Dude, that looks like a rough 40 to me. You know what I mean? It talks about how strong he is, and then you look at his arm, look at his wrist. It looks like his wrist has been all like twisted around or something. Like, this Squire is having a rough life, and even the horse behind him looks like he's kind of mocking him. But either way, this is the level we're dealing with, right? So you have the old school Squire on the screen, you have the new school Squire, and you can see there is some overlap between the two, right? They both have this cap on or whatever. You take a look at it. The idea behind this is the Squire is really weak, right? But you look at the artwork and this new Squire looks like he'd be way beefier. Well, the Squire is actually also where the Secret Lair ran into problems. So what happened was, around the time this Secret Lair was concepted and being put forth, the artist responsible for the Squire card, Noah Bradley, essentially got himself embroiled in a situation where multiple ladies came forth and made accusations. He made a big statement basically saying, these accusations are not incorrect and I am sorry for them style kind of situation. So it unfolds that he has done these things. Wizards of the Coast is basically like, okay, we're going to take a step back. So they make an announcement saying, we're not going to be working with this artist anymore. We're going to discontinue like any of the artwork except for stuff that's already in Magic products we've just printed. Those will come out as usual. So they basically just completely ran from the situation altogether, because it's bad enough to have Magic artists that are tied to things that give you bad publicity and all this sort of thing. But on top of that, the artwork on the Squire itself is very much like almost emblematic of the problem. You know, it's just like somebody who's like, here, enjoy my physicality. I am very attractive. Like, it's very much the exact wrong thing at the exact wrong time in terms of like, whoa, okay, you're using this artist that people now are getting really angry at and for reasons that seem justifiable, right? And then you have this piece of artwork where it's like, not only have you hired him, you've hired him to do a self-painting. This is himself in the artwork. And there's a meme in the background of the artwork. You may not realize it, but it's a reverse of, if you've seen a bunch of memes, there's a guy and a girl walking down the street. And the guy is turned around and he's looking at another lady walking in the other direction, while the lady he's with, who's holding his hand, is looking at him with that like kind of face of, Brian, I can't believe you. How dare you be looking at this other woman? Like, it is incredibly rude the way the guy's like fully got his body cranked around, right? So that's a well-known meme. In the background of the artwork, you can actually see the same kind of pairing. You have a woman getting angry at her man, but in this case, the man is staring at this Squire, that slab of man beef, going, I want some of that. So what happens is Wizards of the Coast looks at this and goes, this is an absolute disaster. What do we do here? First of all, we cut off working with this guy. Secondly, there's no way on God's earth that we should allow any copies of this card to make it out into the wild. So what they did was they went through every single Secret Lair and they pulled every single copy of the Squire, because it would be an absolute think about how disastrous it would be if one of these Squires were to make it out into it, or a handful of them, right? If somebody was able to actually get these, what would happen as a result? Well, they would be super ultra rare. And what happens with super ultra rare cards? They have mega high price tags, and when they get sold, it gets publicized. So it would probably be a nightmare if somebody was able to get their hands on one of these in the wild. And it'd be an even bigger nightmare, I don't know, if maybe they had a graded copy. So take a look at this image. What do we have? Oh no! Oh no! Is that a graded Squire? Uh-oh. A graded Squire can only mean one thing, that the Squires have made it out into the public. They are genuinely out there. This was put up for sale. When you take a look, this was graded by CGC. The universal grade is an 8.5, but when you break down the different things that are listed up at the top, it says Squire Magic the Gathering 2020, Secret Lair April Fools, promo, foil, inadvertent release, right? So they have a category for this. Wizards inadvertently released these. Somebody messed up and did not snag all of these out of the Secret Lairs. The individual who has placed this up for sale specifically said that he sourced it from a sealed Secret Lair, which means there is nothing nefarious about this. This isn't one of those situations where somebody was able to get into Wizards of the Coast and make off with product or anything like that. It's literally Wizards of the Coast didn't do their due diligence and did not protect themselves from this. And now these cards are selling for upwards of $6,000. The price range for a Squire like this is $6,000 to $10,000. And that is definitely a black eye for Magic the Gathering. Now, when you go and look at a list of the most valuable cards out there, you're going to see things like the Black Lotus. You're going to see other things like that super rare dragon that I can't even pronounce the name of properly. And then you're going to see the Squire. And you're going to go, why is this 1/2 with no abilities worth so much money? And then you're going to dig into it. And the deeper it gets, the worse it looks for Wizards of the Coast. So this is definitely a much bigger layer of embarrassment because it's an inadvertent release. This is 100% something that was under their control. They just did not put in the effort to make sure that it was done properly. And in a way, isn't that kind of emblematic of how Wizards of the Coast does things? It seems like they're always just a little bit too late, a little bit too slow, not quite doing the full-on job that they should be. And this is what happens as a result. So, my friends, if you didn't watch it yesterday, I actually had a sponsored video I'm super stoked about. There's some funny stuff in there. I'm going to put it up on the screen. I'd really appreciate it if you go and check it out because not too many people have watched the video and it's definitely going to look better to the sponsors if more people watch it. Make me look professional. Help me out, my friends. Make me look more professional than Wizards of the Coast. I mean, come on, that's a stretch. Let's be real. I'm not that professional. Anyways, thanks for coming by, my friends. Go watch that video and I'll see you guys next time.